Knicks, we are back. Court in session with me, El, and Avenger only one, that is Keelan Phillips. And the Belgian scout, Alan Pinder. Well, he missed last week. He has some technical difficulties. Some people decide that they're going to practice. Anyway, right. So today, I've seen that the Knicks, since they beat the Spurs, they've been struggling. And now the question is, do they have enough to get them where they want to go? Or do they have to make some noise before the trade deadline? I'll start with you there, Alan. What do you think we Knicks should do?
I don't know. I think they're in a bit of a tough spot. I think right now it's probably best to stand pat. I think they have enough to get through the East, but I don't think they have enough necessary to get to the NBA championship. The issue is that the East isn't that strong. I mean, in terms of top level teams, in terms of contending teams, every team pretty much in the East at the top has weaknesses. So I think is quite plausible that they can get through Detroit Pistons. Yeah, I think probably Detroit is probably the best team in the East, definitely record race right now. But they have the experience, and I think in a playoff series with Mike Brown, I think they could potentially get past them. The Boston Celtics have been playing really well of late, but yeah, I would probably still lean Knicks in the playoff series like that. But I don't think the Knicks are good enough necessary to get through any best teams in the East, of the Thunder or the Nuggets. But they definitely have some liabilities. I think Cat and Brunson together is a tough combo defensively. Indiana exploited a lot in the playoffs last year when you have two defensive liabilities like that. And even in the NBA Cup game, they did really well when Cat was on the bench and Mitchell Robinson was there anchoring defense. The thing about Mitchell Robinson, he generates a lot of open 3-point shots on those offensive rebounds. That's almost like a little secret weapon that they have. So they're probably better with Mitchell Robinson in at the center in certain points, but I think that would give them some flexibility. I think Mike Brown will probably have the you have the ability to mix and match and realize, well, I can probably go with Cat here and probably go with Mitchell Robinson here in certain aspects. But I think it'll probably lead to him using Cat a little bit less in specific situations and leaning on size up with Mitchell Robinson more. So I think they do have enough to get East, but not much beyond that. I think they probably should relook that Giannis trade. That Giannis was very interested in going to New York during the summer. I know they didn't necessarily want to do it at the beginning of the season because they want to see what they had, but I think looking at what they have, I would probably still pull the trigger on it now to see if they can. That I think that could potentially swing them as true contender status. But yeah, I probably East, but not US.
What do you think, Keelan?
Yeah, the Knicks have finally suffered or finally succumbed to the NBA Cup curse. It seems like every team that win the NBA Cup is just go through. I think they've lost in the first round. So Knicks better hope that doesn't turn around and happen to them. The point that Alan made about Cat and Brunson, right? They are such defensive liabilities. It is insane. Like you can Brunson, obviously he's too small, like you could just and with NBA teams just switching and switching and switching, like one screen or two screens and he's on a Devin Booker or whatever, right? But then to make matters worse, normally a team could maybe counter it by like saying, okay, as much as Rudy Gobert gets critiqued in the playoffs, right? When teams try to do that switch on him, percentage wise, he still does a very good job on them. Like yes, they will have the highlights or the big shots, but for the most part, people when people switch, he still does a very good job on them. The issue is that even if they try hard hedging and just trying to keep that man on, Cat is a defender. And that man has cement blocks for feet. He in space is problems. So you either got Brunson on the switch or Cat in space. Either one, I was watching the it was Suns had played the Nets a couple of nights ago, and they don't stretch. They literally just took turns. Cat in space, Brunson, Cat in space, and it was just problems all the time. Like as
I'm a
Alan
couple
said,
both.
right? Yeah, like when Mitchell Robinson was on the court, at least that gives you some sort of rim uh, protection. The problem with the Mitchell Robinson, I think, is that one, he's he's an injury risk. Now of late, he's been more healthy of late, but for years he's been just like you
Always
can
hurt.
never call him. Yeah, and then two, he's so limited offensively. Yes, the offensive rebounds are a key thing. Not gonna lie, that killed his first. He had like 18 rebounds and like 12 of them was offensive rebounds. He can definitely do that, but he's limited offensively. And then when if teams get any bonus, Hacker he should be
Go
37% from
shooting.
the free throw line. He's one of the
Yeah.
worst. Yeah. So
Yeah.
then so that could present a problem. Um now the one team that I'm very interested in, I know that there's not a Celtics topic, but the Celtics playing that well, and if Tatum comes back and looks, if he has enough games under his belt before the playoff start and he looks like anywhere close to what he is, that's how they seem could be a sneaky team to actually get out of the East because they're playing very well right now if they can mesh. And I think Tatum coming back with 15 games before the season is enough for not only for him to catch himself, but for them to continue with Jalen Brown playing at the same level that he's playing at while trying to integrate Tatum. Because the biggest thing is that when Tatum and Brown were there, Tatum was the for sure one and Brown was the for sure two. If you can somehow get it closer to where they're both ones at the same time, they may not even perfect it now. But like if you could get that closer, and then when next season come around, it could be even thing. But that's next season. But yeah, straying a little bit from it. I don't think the Knicks for sure they can't win. Sorry, not can't. Can't is not a word that I should use. But it's very unlikely that they win. They may get out the East, but I don't know. This year, I actually think I might take the Pistons. I think that year of experience, like turn around.
I so what's going to become a cap really because he got traded from the Timberwolves because of something. He
Yeah.
gone to New York and he can't defend grandmother no water. So what's become of him? I really feel that defending is hard and working on it. He doesn't have to become a lockdown defender. He just gonna be better.
He used to be like Jokic. Like Jokic
Yeah,
had a lot of defender, but like at least you could win with Jokic. Granted,
right,
Jokic is an all playing level player, but still.
right. But no, what I mean is, so what's going to become of him if he can't play with the Knicks who because of got Brunson. He didn't be able to play with Timberwolves. So I
Well,
mean,
I
like if
think
Knicks get rid of him, no, we can do gonna play with Charlotte.
I
he was all kind of Timberwolves, the issue with Timberwolves, that was a cost decision. They didn't want to pay him the max money.
needed
So it was like,
money.
well, Brando was
Yeah.
a lot cheaper. So that was really a financial move, was the reason why. But systematically, I think he was working over there. He was working pretty well over there. So
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
also
really, the Knicks is an issue with the fit defensively, particularly Brunson, I think.
yeah, I think it's more so I think you could survive with one of them. But having both of them on and because you need them offensively, I think that is the biggest thing. And even offensively, like Alan had said that sometimes Mike Brown could tinker with subbing out Cat and stuff like that because offensively he hasn't even been as good as he usually would be. Like even at the beginning of the season, he said something about not really knowing his role in the offense or whatever. But like there are games where like Cat is being visible, like he's not um aggressive or whatever. It seems like he's not even really featured in the offense, and then other times it seems like he is. So I don't know with that inconsistency, and then on top of the fact that you have both of them, it's really just that you can't have both of them being that bad on defense. Like as you saw when he was at the Wolves, Cat being that bad, but you had Rudy Gobert and Jalen McDaniel. You know, he didn't look as bad. Jalen Brunson a couple of years, you know, when he's the only one, it don't look as bad when you target one. But you can target both. That's fine.
Well, it means that Knicks fate
Might
will
be cooked.
either get out the East and get beat up in the West, or don't get out the East and have to make a trade to get a team that they really need. But anyway, that is about the Knicks. They won something this year, so they might be feeling good about that. Right. So now we know that we have this 65 game limit for these awards. And we know that Joker was playing at terrifically high standard until he went down. It seems he will miss that 65 game window. And then what do you do? So how do you look at these MVP awards? Because if you look at 65 game limit, and then say if SGA go down now, Lord forbid, and he misses considerable time, then the real the trophy for MVP will just be between people who actually only get there because they made it 65 game limit. So tell me, you really feel that they should keep this limit, or how should this work? I will start with you, Kina.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it. This is ridiculous. I hate it. I hate this so much. Like I I get that you want players to play a certain amount of games. I get that, right? But there hasn't been a limit before, and they have for the most part got it right throughout NBA history. Like for example, when they're dealing with all NBA teams, um, if you look throughout history, there have been many times where a player didn't actually reach the 65 game threshold, and they were still on the All NBA teams. Like if you look through, I think the 90s is the one era where they really didn't have that much, but all through the 80s, the 2000s, even on the 2010s, if there were players who I think there was even a year like Scottie Pippen. He must have played 50 something games or 40 something games, and he made the All NBA first team, right? Um, I think, like for example, like as you said, if SGA goes down and Jalen Brunson like wins the MVP or like Jalen Brown, yes, they're having great seasons, but everybody gonna look back at that like, huh? You had like they're gonna look back at the stats, right, and see SGA averaging 30. Jokic averaging almost a triple double, with 30 points. Giannis averaging 30. This person averaging this. And their teams being high up. And then like Jalen Brunson might be averaging 26, like 26 or 27. And he win the MVP as like the fifth best record. And they get a little weird, right? I think that players that was thing for like the load management, but really and truly, players are gonna play and because they want the awards, right? But that's generally how it's gonna be. Like nobody's gonna sit like 20 something games to still win the MVP. Like I feel like if these I don't like that there is a particular number, is what I'm basically trying to say. I don't like that there is a set like people usually gauge well. Like imagine if Jokic plays 64 games. Imagine if SGA plays 64 games. Imagine if this person plays 63 games. They can't win the MVP because of one or two games. When generally in other years they would have easily won the MVP. I don't like the set number. I don't know. I just don't like it.
Yeah, Alan, what do you think about it?
You don't mind it that much, to be honest with you. Um, it's I get what Keelan is saying. Yeah, obviously if guys come in just under the limit, and I do think there's some allowances they give for a couple games missed here or there, I believe. So
Oh,
I understand if guys come in with the at the limit, but I think those are probably some of the extreme cases, or particularly if guys like, because I'm thinking if SJ only plays 50 games and Jokic only plays 50 games, but Jalen Brown plays 78 games, I can see why someone would say, well, their stats are better, but they missed like almost half the season. This guy played the entire season. So I could kind of see that being reasonable in a situation like that. So I think it will mostly be problematic if those extreme cases or those edge cases, because I agree. If a guy dismisses by 1 or 2 games, it will be a little bit wonky. And I do think in general, it'll be good if the voters can just account for it themselves. But I think voters will subconsciously account for any case. Like I think this situation with SGA and with Joker. With Joker missing these games, I think the media, and there's maybe a 20 game gap between SG and Joker, and the stats are close, and LKC's record is a lot better. I think people will give SGA based on the fact that he played most of the season. So I do think the games do count. So I don't necessarily make them counted for it with the official number. I think probably for the All NBA, it could be a relax. You can probably leave at 65 for MVP, but I think probably for the All NBA stuff, they probably could relax it a little lower, maybe down to like 60 games or something like that to account for a little bit more, right? But particularly since those teams you need about 15 players to fill the All NBA. I think you make them be really struggling then if it's at that 65 game limit or whatnot. So I would relax a bit for All NBA, but for MVP, yeah, for the single trophies, the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and whatnot, where it's just one player that you're selecting. I think there's enough talent in the league that things will have to be really unlucky that your top 3 players in the league all get injured and don't. I think that's really bad. So, assuming that worst case scenario doesn't happen, I actually don't mind it.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. If
Go
you,
ahead.
all I'm gonna say is, yeah, like the All NBA teams. Yeah, I think I agree with that. That one should be a relapse for sure. Because trying to get 15 players all playing 65 games or more, that is a little bit more different. The only thing I would say for the for the example that you used with the if SGA plays 50 games, Jokic plays 50 games, their stats are better, but Jalen Brown plays 75 games. No, in that case, I would think Jalen Brown should deserve the MVP. But the thing is that not ideally, historically, MVP voters have factored in the fact that someone has played 50 or 25 games less and would say, hey, okay, this person should get it. Like for example, um Embiid when Embiid won when he didn't win Rookie of the Year, when Malcolm Brogdon won. Like his stats were a lot better than Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, but you
But
missed it all the time.
Embiid played like 30 games and Malcolm Brogdon played almost like 80 something. So like obviously with that, like once it's like 20 something 20 or more games gap in between, I think the voters have historically factored that in. As you say, if they have the allowance were like 1 or 2 games, they would make an exception, then fine. But it's just the set number I don't like because previously they have already factored that in. Like that's the only thing
Yeah. That's I don't mind them. What you're saying is true, but I don't mind necessarily formalizing it with an actual number.
fair.
I mean, neither gap, right? I think all MVP is the fellow that played the best basketball for the longest time. So if you play the best basketball for the NBA, you should be in. If he plays 66 games, it's fine. If he plays 50 games and another player plays 75 and the stats are similar, then I expect the man was like 5. So to me, and it's neither here nor there. It's just that it's become a thing because I think Jokic was playing so well, and he was basically running away with the MVP, and then he get hurt, and now we're thinking he may come back. Actually, he might not be playing at the same level. You never know.
Yeah,
So I
Yeah,
just think
he
it's
should get back
because
in time, it seems, though.
yeah, I just
yeah.
think
I think we
it
barely
is
cut off.
because like a top player like Joker that people starting to look at it, but it is what it is. When you start the season, you know that was what it is. So it is what it is. Right. So the NBA All Star. A lot of chatter being around. I've seen memes on top memes going around about the NBA starter, the NBA, the All Star starters. The fact that LeBron is not a starter in his 23rd year. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people being, there've been a lot of chatter. So I say that in court session, being, on top of things, they'll add to that chatter as well. So, All Star. Who was the All Star again? Let me see. In the East it was
um,
Giannis,
Maxi,
Maxi,
um,
Jalen
Jalen
Brown,
Brown,
Jalen Brunson
Brunson.
and
Jalen
Kid.
Brunson, and Kid. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
And then in the West, there was only one American in the West All Star fight.
yeah, yeah. Steph Curry,
Yeah,
Steph, yeah, Giannis. So not Giannis, Steph, Wemby, Luka, SGA, and Jokic.
yeah.
Yep.
So what are our thoughts? Do you really see the changing of the guard really?
Uh, yeah. I mean, the fact that KD, um, Braun, well, no, Braun is the most obvious one that is the changing of the guard. I think it was 21 years straight of being an All-Star starter. So the fact that he's not an All-Star starter anymore, is going to signify, a change. Now, what might happen in the situation like a whole thinks it was years on
Yeah.
MJ's last year. He didn't get voted in as a starter. Like he was still an all star, but then Vince gave up his spot to so MJ could start. No, that might have been well, we know MJ is gonna retire this year, so he's starting for the last one. I'm not too sure. I don't think Braun is retiring this year. He might come back for one. He might announce it so that he could come back for one more year and have the retirement tour or whatever. So I don't know if anybody would give up their spot this year, but
No, no,
I
listen.
think yeah, he probably still would be an all star, even if there's as much as we don't think the Lakers are that good, they would have I think they still have a top 6 or 7 record overall. They get 2 All Stars
Yeah,
because
he's
Reeves,
still also out for sure. Yeah.
yeah, Reeves has missed too much anyway. And don't forget to the format is gonna be that World versus USA anyway. So they're gonna need some American players. Um so yeah, he's gonna get in. I think one of the bigger debates was online. That's always Steph getting in as he started over at, which is funny because the actual vote came down between Wemby and because Wemby won the fan. Well, he was sixth in the fan vote, or is that it? Yeah,
Yeah.
he was sixth or fifth, and Ant was seventh, right? So that's what was the tiebreaker. And it's funny too because they now just had that battle where Ant had 55, Wemby had 39. So it seems like Wemby beat him in back-to-back things. So yeah. You all know the All Star thing is um, for years it was a popularity. Now with the media and the players is a little bit more balanced. Um, but the All Star thing. One, I don't know if you all saw, but Bronny James got 2 player vote for Bronny James in the All Star game. And that'll tell you about the All Star whole process. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a start to change the guard because as Keelan said, Curry was still voted in as he started. I'm definitely the camp that thing that Edwards. I mean, the season he is having,
Yeah,
he's technically definitely having a better season than Curry so far as good of a season as Curry is having. But understandably, it is All Star. It's not all NBA. So Curry is going to get that not All Star because like fan vote and legacy and that sort of stuff. It's going to play a big role. And Curry was actually second in the player vote on the US side, right? Ahead of the MVP, SGA. So I think that says a lot for the respect that Curry definitely has among the players. And
He did
KD
that
was
hard.
also,
He did that nepotism.
and KD was also a starter, both as a starter by the players as well.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, so I think that was interesting there in terms of the vote. So, yeah, I think a change in guard definitely coming. But yeah, that battle between Wemby and Edwards, because as you said, based on the weighted score, they both
It's
had the
tight,
same
right?
score.
Yeah.
They both had the same score. It's interesting. Ant was voted started by the players and the media. It's the fan vote that he lost.
Yeah.
And it's really only the media that voted Wemby as as a starter, interesting
But
enough.
that is the
But
interesting point thing, though, because over the years you were talking about the fans calling the All Star, and that's where they
Yeah.
brought in the other bits. And then somebody like Aaron who's playing, you can't complain about his playing. He's playing all his money, but what the fans just don't like good basketball. I don't know.
Yeah. I think this might be a situation where because they still like even though the media and the players are involved, the fans still like the fan vote is still
yes, weighted heaviest.
favored. Yeah,
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 fan vote
exactly.
is worth 50. The other two are 25, 25.
Yeah.
So that's why Wemby
And
would have gotten it. Probably think that's part of
yeah,
why Wemby would have gotten the nod ahead of Ant. Because the
Uh,
yeah,
fans say so.
yeah.
well,
It's straight up. So
if you got criteria and if you got criteria and you lost by that criteria, then you can't really complain. It's,
yeah, I think it's good for All Star, and I don't mind. To me, I don't mind that at all. I think that would even itself for all NBA because I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Curry
yeah.
gets it over SG and all NBA or even
and it's not the first thing.
Emerson. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
first,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think SG and Ant probably are playing on a
The two
first team level
guards.
right
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
now.
definitely.
Yeah, and I found it very interesting that Luca was not even voted a starter by the players.
I mean, they must be tired of the forbidding and just the complaining and the whining, like how most of
And
us are.
I, I just found out interesting that someone that was got so high in the fan vote and whatnot, he was not even voted a starter by his peers. I found that to be very
Yeah, that's
that
an
was
interesting. That's an
quite
interesting
interesting.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's an
yeah,
interesting point.
Yeah, but I
Anyway,
think they did a job with the weights now because as you know, Lamelo I think was like really
yeah,
big last time, and then
Lamel's
he
real
went from
popular.
starting to not making the All Star team. So I think this weight is working well enough. It's not perfect, but I think it's working well.
yeah, yeah. All Star to me, but I want to see this format. How this format can work. But after
Yeah,
you
the
done
I
world
don't
going
want
to
to
versus
see it,
the
but
starters,
hey,
yeah, after you done going to starters, and then four out of the five best players are world players. So it
world
means that
players.
Curry can play with the other side.
East
Yeah.
East is US versus world. So this East
So
West thing
they,
in England,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
That's
this
really
this
just
East
for
West thing
the
is only for the fans, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just the voting. Those and is very funny because if you do the USA versus world, like as it is starters, right, that are voted in, at the end of the day, because you can have East versus West, I think only 4 out of the 10 are world. So therefore, it means that somebody who wasn't technically voted in as a starter is gonna still have to start
Actually, no, they
on
got
the
they got
world.
they got
Who
they
who's
got
the
5 world starters, so they'd be
who
fine.
who the fifth one? Who's the fifth?
Giannis.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's
oh
right.
yeah, but okay, but you can see how
So
this
they
format could be a
barely
little
make it. They
weird
barely
though.
make it.
They
And that's
barely
assuming
make it.
Jokic plays.
Yeah,
and
because
that
like
that,
if
that means that Curry can go over there with the guards because the other side is bare
yeah,
guards.
Curry
so
gonna
like
play
if
US.
yeah, so like if an event that Giannis didn't make it, then it would mean like somebody who was not a starter would end up starting on the world team. So this format could
Pascal Siakam.
All right. Okay, just stop with the you just stop the discussion from from the actual stars, the all stars, by mentioning Siakam. Anyway, now let's go now. Of course, you know you can't leave for the session without having a pick five. Week before, Allen was perfect. I have to mention that he was perfect. He got all 5 picks.
First time ever.
That was that's no, that was the first time. I think he did that before.
Really?
I
Oh, okay.
wouldn't lay on you. But you were perfect.
Appreciate it.
Um, you were perfect. Yes, you were perfect. I was 1 of 5, and Keelan was not here.
Other.
And he seems to be having some problems. So let's see what happens when Keelan gets back. And Keelan comes back. I don't know we wait. So we got the pick five. As I was saying before, Alan was perfect. I was 1 of 5, but I didn't do myself any good. But we'll see this week. So we start this week on Tuesday, tomorrow, which is Toronto at Golden State. Toronto at Golden State. Toronto be playing very well.
yeah.
Golden State has now caught a little rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Warriors with this one. Yeah, they Warriors have been playing better of late.
Yeah. I ain't probably go to Warriors.
Okay, so all three going to the Warriors. And then on Wednesday, we have Atlanta at Memphis.
Funny enough, I can probably pick Memphis because I don't know what's going on with the Hawks. After that trade, they've been stinky.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a
Jalen
Grizzlies
Johnson
today.
forgot how to play all of a sudden too, but I think
Either
it's going
that
back
or
today.
either that or CJ might be a terrorist. 'Cause-
Hawks have a losing record.
know,
I didn't
it's taking
realize
a while.
they
It's
fall back.
Exactly.
It's taking a while to get to know your teammates. It's just
Yeah,
gonna happen
true.
that way. Don't care how good a player you are, it's still gonna take a while.
Yeah.
So you go with Memphis. What about you, Alan?
Oof. I ain't go the Hawks here, man. I ain't go the Hawks here.
It's actually a tough one.
Don't let the fact that you were perfect 2 weeks ago and try to put you on the pressure, you know.
Yeah, under pressure. Don't trying to match me on the record, right?
Yeah. So I will go with Hawks, though. Simply because Keelan going with Memphis. On Thursday, Charlotte is at Orlando. Charlotte or Orlando. Orlando.
Charlotte's been balling of late. I didn't even know. Like they've actually been playing well. Can't believe I'm saying that. I'm saying this. You said Hornets. Charlotte versus who again?
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to Magic.
I like going with Magic. I feel the Magic because we can't play at home. You going with Charlotte, Keelan?
I take a swing. I go with Charlotte.
You take a swing.
I take a swing.
And what we got back?
Only trust.
On Friday, Denver is at OKC. This is a big one.
OKC.
OKC?
No J-Dub. So
Yeah, I ain't not playing those games. I know Joker.
yeah, you're right. but then they would turn around lose to like the Heat and then like I go with OKC. That I want you to know like earlier up in the season, like there was a for sure like there's have like a pick five, sorry, a pick system on 2K, like where you would pick games. At OKC was for sure, yeah, it went in for sure. And then Spurs
Yeah,
bought them, and then it was a little after that. It was like,
yeah. Just the
I didn't even
algorithm.
just weird. No, like why you still
Right.
pick
And
OKC?
the final game in the Pick 5 is New York at Philly.
Oh, yeah, Brunson, yeah, buddy, again Philly.
Yeah, yeah. Until next figure I know you gotta go with Philly, like, for real.
Yeah, them
Right?
currently get washed off by the Mavs. Like Mavs was up like 30 at half.
Well,
That's a back to back, by the way.
Yeah, wait, man, I know.
That
But
Philly
anyway,
game, because that changes who's going to be available, with
oh
the big
yeah,
fellas.
Embiid
So
boy, Embiid boy.
uh,
It's
right.
like, but they stop.
I
So
would hope
I'm
it's
picking
not. I
that.
would hope it's not bad man go Philly.
Yeah, well,
It can be,
you
it
know,
can be
in
back to
about
back.
back. Because it's about and being played.
It can be a back to back, a
Correct.
back to back, a back to back. It don't matter. Right? Get the Knicks.
Okay. Anyway, that is the Pick 5. But before we go, we have the call game. So who do you call game on, Gilan?
I call game on Wemby and I. Right, I mentioned it earlier, but that battle that the other day, when I had a career high 55 and B had 39, there was a particular stretch in the fourth quarter. After the Spurs were playing really well, like they were up 25 point. Then the Wolves came back and put them up two. Then when me scored and tied it, then I come down and I hit a tree. Then when me hit a tree, and it was just back to back to back to back. Yeah, that was a great matchup. As the playing out of his mind, like he's
Yeah,
averaging 29 points per game. And the thing about him is that every year he has increased his points per game and true shooting, which is not like usually with more volume, your efficiency might drop. His efficiency has gone up every year, though with more volume. So I call game on that battle and a little bit more for Ant, in particular.
Oh, you Alan?
Keelan kind of took both my to a degree, because I was going to call game on the NBA Cup curse affecting, because it struck the Bucks last year. As you know, it struck the Lakers the year before that, right after the
Yeah.
NBA Cup. Struck the Knicks pretty hard now, and they have a serious struggle, right? So definitely call game on that. But since Keelan kind of mentioned it earlier, call we may reference here as well. Call game on Anthony Edwards and his clutch factor. His clutch. He's been extremely clutch this season. I think we're at midseason now. There's a good chance he's going to win clutch player of the year. I think he's shooting like close to 90% in the clutch. At least over 80% is his effective field goal percentage in the clutch. So yeah, this man is, yeah, I guess he's really trying to make those Jordan comparisons come true or something. So call again with his clutch factor this week.
Okay. Well, I am going out of basketball. I'm calling game on Oblique Seville and Tina Clayton. Both won Jamaica Athletic Awards over the weekend. As you know, Seville won the 100 in the Adi World Championships.
Yeah.
And Tina Clayton had a good year. But yes, I call game on two of those. And I look forward to seeing them this season. All right. But before we go, just want to let the viewers know, and our fans, and our whoever else. Next week, we will have two segments. Segment number one will be about the BABA, the preseason, the BABA. Segment two will then be about the NBA. And we will have a surprise for our viewers come next week. So, you tune in next week and you will hear what the surprise will be. And right now, the court is adjourned.